Hello, my name is Catherine Hawes, and I'd like us to take the next few minutes to talk about writing together. So, this is part 3 of my journey to self-publishing a poetry book. So my overall theme with this poetry book is to be a gift of comfort for those times when you want to curl up in a blanket on the floor and to go from those feelings to sit with them, acknowledge them, and then find hope for the future of when you need to get up off the floor and go about the rest of your day and the rest of your life. So previously we have talked about choosing that theme, then choosing chapters within the book, self-editing and compiling poems to fit into the chapters. And now I would like us to talk about how to present work to beta readers and ask them questions that are best going to help you to edit in the next round. So I asked my Instagram friends and Facebook friends of who would be interested in beta reading, and then those who responded, I sent a Google form and my chapter as a PDF for them to look at. So here is the Google form, like the behind the scenes of how I created this. So here's the title for it, and the mandatory questions are an asterisk, and that's where you can make a question required or not required. I wanted to know who the comments were from in case I had questions, so then I could ask that person about their comment. So asking, did you generally enjoy reading this chapter? Yes, not really, I'm not sure. After reading this chapter, can you describe how it made you feel? So this is very important, especially for poetry, but for fiction as well. You want your reader to feel something, but you can't force a feeling down your reader's throat. So this is a good indicator if they tell you that they thought something was very funny and you actually wanted it to bring tears of sadness, then that gives you a clue that you need to be doing some editing to fix your words, to bring about the emotion that you're hoping for. The next question, which poems resonated with you the most? I was pleasantly really surprised with the results from questions like this for the different chapters to see which poems came up for multiple people. That was fascinating to me, and I did make note of that and highlighted for myself to know, okay, this poem we certainly have to keep, like these ones, because they resonated with multiple people. And that also helped me think of where in the chapter it should go. And then a similar question, which poems did not resonate with you? If multiple people call out the same dud poem, then maybe it's time to take it out or to tweak it so that it's not such a dud. Next question, would you like to be a beta reader for the rest of this project? Yes or no? And this is another of the emotional goal questions. The goal for these poems is to feel like a warm blanket. Did any poems feel like a wet blanket instead? When I write a poem, I can get so close to it that I can't see like a reader could be able to read it and see it with new eyes. And for the first time, I might think that it's a warm blanket and it might be a wet blanket instead. And that's why I asked this one. Another goal for these poems is to avoid toxic positivity or just blowing sunshine. Did any poems cross the line into toxic positivity? Now, let's take a second to talk about toxic positivity in case you, like me, had not heard of this before. Okay, so according to the internet, toxic positivity, also known as excessive positivity or positive toxicity, it's a dysfunctional emotional management without the full acknowledgement of negative emotions, particularly anger and sadness. So this can also be a form of gaslighting. So let's also look at gaslighting. So also, according to the internet, gaslighting is a colloquialism defined as manipulating someone into questioning their own perception of reality. So in my case, I realized that sometimes I would gaslight myself with toxic positivity. So what would that look like? Being in some kind of a situation where I was feeling sad and then telling myself, oh, you shouldn't be sad. This isn't something to be sad about. You're a happy person and you shouldn't be feeling this way. Yikes. And I would never talk to my friend that way. So why was I talking to my own head that way? Catherine, we learn and we learn and we keep on learning. But I would sometimes talk to my friends in like very toxic positivity kinds of ways, being, oh, it's fine, it'll get better, I promise. Like, can you really promise things like that, Catherine? Do you have that kind of power to just bring goodness? Not necessarily. Or saying like, oh, don't cry, everything will be all right. You can't promise stuff like that. You can't make people stop crying. All right, so all that to say, I don't want these poems to have toxic positivity and blow sunshine on a situation. Did any of these poems cross the line into toxic positivity when I didn't want them to? Next question. Did any poems feel confusing or out of place? The feedback from this question was helpful for me to delete poems out of the collection or to move them to a different spot. Next question, did you notice any grammatical issues that you're just dying to tell me? Please specify the poem and page number. And then lastly, any final comments? What I appreciate about Google Forms is that the responses can go into a spreadsheet so you can see them all at once, and then you can also see pie charts and things for when folks answered questions. So like here's another one, and being able to look at all of the responses like data was super helpful, and I then pulled out the key pieces and put them into my Scrivener document chapter by chapter to use the feedback and then make an action plan based on the suggestions, and then have a checklist for myself to be able to edit from there. Thank you for joining me on my journey to self-publish this poetry book. Tune in next time where we will explore the next step to publishing. I want you to remember that you are here and the world is better for it. All right? Have a lovely rest of your day and ciao for now.